Good evening. John, going to play a little Immaculate Grid. I'm still catching up a little bit, but I think for right now I'll play tonight's grid, number 207. This is for Thursday, the 26th of October. I'm going to add a twist this time around. I always like going for the low rarity score, but something we were out. It was a couple weeks ago actually. We were looking at some antiques. We're looking for chairs to go in our breakfast nook. Um, and one thing I came across at this like legit sort of antique super warehouse type store was a box of 1990 Donruss baseball cards, which is a card set that I kind of like. I don't know what it is, the orange border with the sort of black polka dots. It kind of reminded me of Wild Cherry Pepsi from my youth. Um, anyway, I've had a little bit of an affinity with it. I think there was a Brewer fan giveaway when I was about 1 year old, and my sister got some older sister got some cards from it, and I kind of inherited them. One of which was a Greg Vaughn rookie card. Another which was Charlie O'Brien, who I've used before when playing these games. Anyway, I'm going to start today by opening up a pack, seeing what cards I get, and I'm going to see if I can incorporate those cards. I'm going to not look at the back. Of course, Donruss only shows the last 5 years, or showed the last 5 years, so even that wouldn't be able to help me too much. But I'm going to look at the cards and see if I can play them in the grid. So a little bit of a twist. I want to work in some twists. I'm still going for a low rarity score if I can get it, but I think there is gum in here. I will not be eating that. Um, MVP bonus cards. You know what? I do know what the MVP bonus cards are. I had one of George Brett, I think, somewhere. Um, anyway, this is opening them up. I don't know how to do it exactly right to make sure they stay. Oh, and there's a Carl Yastrzemski puzzle card. So if you collect enough, which probably I did by buying this whole box, you can make a puzzle of Carl Yastrzemski, which is pretty cool. Um, Looks like I have puzzle piece number 27 in there. Hopefully I don't unmint any of these cards. See if that, yeah, all right. I'll make a Carl Yastrzemski puzzle. Might be a fun thing to do with my son here in a few years. All right, so right off the bat, we got bring them in close. I don't know how well you're going to see that. It's, Chuck Carey, Dennis Lamp featured with the Red Sox. I can't say I know a lot of teams he played for. Jeff Robinson, who's featured with the Tigers, and I want to say he also played for the. No, I'm thinking of Don Robinson. I'm not sure about this guy. I see a Brewer named Gus Gus Polidor? Gustavo Polidor. All right. I guess he played for the Angels Brewers. Like I said, I'm not supposed to look at the back, so I'll try to forget that. Mark Williamson with the Orioles. We've got a Diamond King of Kelly Gruber. So if we get Blue Jays and 30 home runs or something, he works for that. Checklist card. Ooh, we got some speed. We got some speed in the house. That's Vince Coleman. Got 5 consecutive years leading the league in stolen bases, 472 in his first 5 years. I knew he was with the Cardinals, and that's the only team that's featured on the back, so I don't feel too bad about that. He also plays for the Mariners, Mets, and Royals, I believe. Ooh, Wild Thing Mitch Williams. So he'll work for the Phillies and Cubs, apparently. Might be other teams. Here's a Hall of Famer, Mr. Kirby Puckett. It's not going to work for a ton unless I get like Twins 100 RBI or Twins 30 home run. I think he did have a 30 homer season. He'll definitely work for 300 average, 200 hits. Um, Andres Thomas, best known as not Jeff Blauser, shortstop for the Braves. Todd Benzinger. I guess he works for the Red Sox and Reds, but I'll try not to use him for that because I saw the back of the card. Roger McDowell with the Phillies, and I know he played for the Mets. Gary Templeton. I've used Gary Templeton before. So he's featured here with the Padres. He was swapped for Ozzie Smith. So he would work for the Cardinals. He had like 3 years leading the league in triples. I think he'll work for 300 average. We got Rafael Ramirez right there. I don't know who else he played for besides the Astros. And then Darryl Strawberry, who will work for all New York teams. This is one of his last years with the Mets before he went off to the Dodgers. So if I can get, I mean, there's only a few of those that I would really feel confident using, but we can see if we could work those in. I don't know. I don't know how strict I should adhere to the no looking at the back of the baseball card rule. Anyway, let's start sharing the screen. Let's see if I can hit the cards in this deck, and I'll do this like once a week or so. I figure I'll do this once a week. Maybe I'll do a lineup once a week. And it could be that I just can't make a team out of any of these folks, and that happens sometimes. But all right, there it is. Sorry for the delay there. Hit and refresh. Well, no, I'm just gonna do this. Low value production, guys. You get what you paid for. A 6-WAR season? Really? I'm not gonna know that. Played in major leagues. So played in. Is this played in? Oh, okay, yeah. So it has to have played. The player here has to have played with the teams. Okay, gotcha. So like Jackie Robinson would work here as an example. All right. Well, nobody here is gonna work for that. Actually, let me look at these guys. I mean, only Kirby Puck. I guess Kirby Puckett works here, right? Troy Puckett, 1911. Kirby Puckett takes 0.4. I'm not seeing anyone else that's actually gonna work. So maybe this was a flawed concept. Mitch Williams, Vince Coleman. The category of played in the majors and the Negro Leagues is gonna not work with Donruss 1990 too well. So that's life. All right. It was an interesting concept. Maybe I do a sneak peek. Maybe what I do is I open the grid, then I open the cards. Maybe I do it that way. That might be a better way to do it, but I'm already in. I did Kirby Puckett. I think that's going to be the only one I can do. I don't think Darryl Strawberry had a 6-WAR season with the Dodgers. I would very much bet against it. But let's see. We can go ahead and try to knock out some of these. Steve Garvey would work here. Still going. I just lost my monitors, by the way. This is a low value production. Let's see. San Diego and Cleveland. I know Joe Carter will work. Tony Fernandez would actually be a pretty good one here. He goes 0.6. We just need anyone with a 6-WAR season for the Dodgers. Any player, pitcher, okay. Steve Finley, of course, works for all the Western Division teams. Orlando Hudson would work for this one. I believe Fernando Valenzuela works. Probably also works over here. Predict Cody Bellinger will be the highest one here. Let's see. So if someone's played in major Negro Leagues. So if I go with someone who never played for a big league or for a American or National League club, I should say, such as Bullet Rogan, the subject of chapter 15 of my book, that should work. All right, he gets 0.5. There were more obscure ones I could have gone with, but I like to plug Bullet Rogan because he was the subject of one of the chapters of my book, Pitcher of the 1920s. And also he hit about as he hit like 340 for his career. He hit like peak Bernie Williams for 10 years while also being the best pitcher in the decade and managing the Monarchs. Um, yeah, San Diego and LA. We don't want to go Garvey. We don't want to maybe Orlando Hudson. I think Orlando Hudson would be all right. Um, Kevin Brown that'd be an interesting pick. Valenzuela definitely works. I think he played a season with San Diego. Um, I think Orlando Hudson, just of the people I've listed, Adrian Gonzalez is definitely going to do well on this one. Steve Finley, I think, will take about 5%. I think people are on to the fact that he's played for every single NL West team. Wow, that was a lot better than I would have thought. 0.08%. And then any San Diego Padre who's been who's made it to the Hall of Fame. Um, let's see here. We've got Dave Winfield, Tony Gwynn, Ricky Henderson, Gaylord Perry, Trevor Hoffman. Willie McCovey played a couple seasons in San Diego. That might actually take the lead so far. Gossage works. Played a few years in San Diego. Greg Maddux works. I'm gonna go with McCovey. Takes 1%. And we need a 6 WAR season from any player to ever play with the Cleveland Naps, Indians, or Guardians. Grady Sizemore, I know, had like a 7.5 WAR season. Lou Boudreau's 1948 season is a pretty good favorite of mine. Uh, I'm sure like Joe Sewell probably got one. But I don't know 6 WAR that well. Like that's not a super frequent thing to go with. Al Rosen. How about Al Rosen? 1953, one of the best seasons ever by a third baseman. Go sub one. And for the Dodgers, 6 WAR season. How about Willie Davis? I know I've used him before, but I did mention in his book that he had a season. He and Don, this was in my book, I had the chapter that was great seasons that were 1 year off from a great team season. In 1964, both Willie Davis and Don Drysdale were north of 8 WAR. The Dodgers had a losing record that season. Koufax actually was injured for a big chunk of it. And the Dodgers, yeah, they weren't particularly competitive. They won the World Series in both 63 and 65, but didn't play particularly well in 1964. But they had those two great performances. I think Davis is more obscure than Drysdale, so I'm going to go with him. 0.08. I like how Baseball Reference doesn't feel the need to specify that's their version of WAR that they're using for this. Anyway, let's see. I believe Don Newcomb played in the Negro Leagues briefly. What about Jim Gilliam? Did he play? Campanella, I'm sure works. Uh, and obviously Jackie Robinson's gonna be a big player there. Well, actually, there's a very easy way to find out if Don Newcomb works. Yeah, so Don Newcomb has to work because it's pre 1947. So I was able to cheat a little bit there. Takes 6%. All right, so for Cleveland, the three that I've got on my mind are Satchel Paige, Larry Doby, and then Minnie Minoso. And I'll have to check on Mini here, but I'm fairly sure he played in a league that counts. Based on that year, he has to have. He definitely was with Cleveland for part of that time. So let's go with him. Takes 3%. So I get a rarity score of 12. I only use one card from the collection here. So maybe this was a dumb idea, but I've collected cards. You can see the cards over there. There's a whole shelf lining my man cave here of baseball cards. I do like collecting like little box sets, not factory sets, but just box sets because I get to open it up and see what I got. Um, and then I consolidate all the cards from that year in the box set. So I've done that. I'll do that about once a year these days. Anyway, this was as always a lot of fun.